games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 1,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life. No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
He'd probably be dead. It's the Stansberry Show. Rock 69.
Welcome to Wednesday morning on the Stansberry Show on Rock 1069. Online for you at WRQK.com. And I do have Sonic Temple tickets for you today. A 4-pack of passes to see Sonic Temple. That show starting May 16th. Historic Crew Stadium in Columbus. I have those all week for you. This morning you shall get hooked up around 7:45 this morning on those. Also at 9 a.m. I'll rock the bank with you and pass out that first $1,000 keyword. We'll do that at 9 as well. Also Barbara Streisand and apparently Melissa McCarthy are going to fight over body shape and size and the like. This over the Ozempic shot, which I actually got into an argument here in the hallway about that the other day because people who take it, man, are they emotional about the fact that they take it. Man, do they get a little emotional about it. So we'll get there. Coming up at 9 a.m. You've seen plenty of people on this now. If you watch that Bon Jovi Thank You Goodnight documentary, their manager, Doc McGee, clearly has taken it. He's about a quarter of the size he used to be. Phil Mickelson, pro golfer, is clearly on it. He just looks like a completely different person. So Barbara Streisand had some interesting things to say about Melissa McCarthy and her weight struggle in Hollywood and the like, and we'll get there coming up at 9 a.m. Also, like I said, rock the bank with you. As well at 8, we'll get into the Cavaliers' win a little bit last night as they win 104-103 over the Magic at home at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. At Game 5, they do have an advantage in the series now. They are up 3-2 on that series. You got to get to 4. And I find this to be a little interesting. And maybe it's the way they lost. But, man, the Cavs lose the other night. All the social media impressions on my timelines were Cavs related. They win last night. It's Cavs crickets. I don't understand it. I feel as if people just line up to kind of like hate on the Cavs for some reason. I could be wrong. It's just how I'm perceiving it. I don't have like hard data to back that up or anything. But like just the way my timeline feels, it almost feels like people would rather they lose. So they could sit around and go, see, told you, not any good. JB sucks. Told you Donovan Mitchell wasn't any good. It kind of feels like that's what's happening a little bit. But we'll take a look back at Game 5. Also, could it be possible LeBron James comes home and plays as a Cavalier? Laker fans want him out. Now, the Laker team itself, the organization seems less likely to want to throw LeBron out, trade him, or whatever it should be. The fans want him out. I've never seen an athlete get hated on so much when they lose like LeBron. Now, yes, he's vocal about some things, and he has created some of his own opponents. That's fair. And if you want to be critical of what he says and some of that, I could maybe even see that argument. Trying to deny the man is a damn good basketball player is where, like, all right, I think we're around the bend on that. Like, the guy is pretty good. You don't want to put him above Mike? Fine. Don't put him above Mike. Have Mike as the GOAT. I'm fine with it. But trying to say LeBron James isn't good at basketball just makes you crazy. This is why I'm always jumping up and down on Skip Bayless. You know, people always say, hot take, that guy's a hot take artist. No, Skip Bayless is a hot take artist. The man's been trying to tell you LeBron's no good for 20 years. I mean, come on. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, dude, just look at that. He's been in the league 20 years. He's pretty good. Right? He's pretty good. LeBron to the Cavs? I don't think so. I think we all know the more likely scenario that happens there, right? It's Donovan Mitchell to the Lakers is the more likely scenario there, if that's who they want. A lot of NBA people I follow seem to think that what the Lakers are going to do is get Trae Young to come there and be a complimentary piece to LeBron. I think I could maybe see that happening too, but we'll get to all of it. We'll do that coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. Also, like I said, at 7:45, I do have your Sonic Temple tickets for you. That show kicking off on the 16th of this month in Columbus. Also, Dave & Buster's. Did you see this? Dave & Buster's is now getting into the gambling. People are losing their minds about this, talking about how this is the end of society. They're not going to let your 7-year-old gamble at Dave & Buster's. Now, people have long said places like that are kind of teaching your kids what gambling is, and they kind of are on some level. But what they're going to do now is you'll be able to have a friendly $5 wager on Pop-A-Shot, Skee Ball, or their skill-based games that they have in Dave & Buster's. Is it gambling light? Sure. To me, it feels like $5 says you short it while on the green golf course. To me, it sounds like that. I saw so many people clutching the pearls yesterday. I'm like, dude, I play, and there was a lot of them were women. And it was like, I play golf with your husband. He's a gambling addict and you don't even know. Like, that guy's got 3 bets going on the games tonight. We were gambling on Sunday at the course. We did this, and you don't even, out here yelling about gambling, don't even know your husband's addicted to it. I saw so many people freaking out about that. I think it's just them looking to capitalize on the hot thing that's going on right now. Yes. But have you ever been in a situation with one of your buddies playing a little Papa Shot? I'll bet you $5 I win. All right, whoever loses buys wings. I mean, it's literally been baked into people having competitions with one another forever. I'm not sure this is the reason to like go all crazy and overboard about it, but we will tell you what's going on at Dave & Buster's. We'll get a little further into that story. We'll spend part of the 7 o'clock hour doing that this morning. Oh, is this not turned on? Apparently that is not turned on. Sorry, this is what you were supposed to be hearing right there.
If you leave, you'll miss this on the Stansberry Show.
All right, so the conversation about bringing kids to adult places is back. And this time, over another concert, an artist is saying, what are you doing bringing your kids to my shows? If they see or hear something they're not supposed to see or hear, that's a you problem, not me. And I think she might be right about this. So let's get into it next on Rock 106.9. Got a 4-pack of passes for Sonic Temple for you. That show, middle of this month. Pretty good. Disturbed's your headliner of the first night. That's not bad, right? We got a 4-pack of tickets for you. 7:45, I'll get you in this morning. The number you will need is 330-450-7625. That to call at 7:45. You can text it throughout the program. You can call it throughout the program as well. All right. It's always a tough conversation for me when we start talking about where it's appropriate to have kids and where it isn't. My parents, especially when I was real young, were a little bit more restrictive, right? And so we didn't do a lot. And I don't have children of my own. And so that also makes it easy sometimes for me to be like, get a babysitter, leave them here, do this or do that, right? It does. It makes that a little easier. I've also been turned around on plenty of things in my career as I have aged. When I was doing afternoons, I would tell people, do you bring your kids to a Browns game? What are you, a moron? Do you have any idea what happens in the media lot? Do you have any idea what happens in those stands? You know? And so I would push back against, do family sections. What are we doing, being sissies? Leave your 10-year-old at home, right? And as I've grown, I'm like, all right, that's obviously a crazy viewpoint, right? We gotta have venues, especially when you're talking sports. And, kids look up to stars and they want to go see their favorites play and all of that. It can be a little different when talking about concerts. It's a tricky thing. And again, my mom would have thrown up in her hands before taking me to go see Iron Maiden. Like, that just was not going to happen. And so I don't quite understand the whole take my kid to the concert thing. I'm not necessarily against it. I don't understand it because it just would never have been part of my life. I bring it up because a pop artist is saying, I don't know why you're bringing kids to my shows. I'm not a children's act. That's not what I am. Doja Cat. Now, she has ruffled plenty of feathers in her career. I think she lost a bunch of Instagram followers last year, as a matter of fact, because she told her fans she doesn't love them. Which you almost got to respect the honesty. I think most people who put on any type of performance for you, myself included, are respectful of your attention, or at least should be. And if not even respectful of it, at least thankful for it. I thought it was a little nuts what she said, but you almost have to respect the honesty. But we're talking about bringing kids to concerts. She said, I don't know who the F you think this is, but I don't make music for children. So leave your kids at home, MFers, she had said. I'm rapping about, and I'll have to change some words here. I'm rapping about semen. Why are you bringing your offspring to my show? You ever notice when you clean it up, it actually makes it sound worse? You ever notice that? Don't use language, bad language. Oh my God, kids are listening, language. And like when you cleaned it up, it actually sounds worse. Watch. I'm rapping about semen. Why are you bringing your offspring to my show? She continued. I'm rapping about eating penis and urinating on his V-cut. Leave your mistakes at home. The Paint the Town Red singer is. This is Doja Cat for anybody. Maybe I've heard this. Didn't know her name. So actually, the first line of that song is, yeah, bitch, I said what I said. Like, that's how this song starts. She's kind of right here. I mean, I don't know what we're going to classify a kid as when we start talking about taking kids to concerts. She doesn't get into it. She doesn't talk. She didn't give us like an instance here where something happened. Or she's not even giving you like the person who's telling you, oh my God, I brought my kids to this, and then this is what happened. Like, she's not even giving you the example. So I don't know like the frame of the story, really. I mean, I've read 6 articles on this. Nobody talks about what kind of started it. They just kind of tell you what she said. That's big enough for the news story. You know? I kind of feel like once your kid is 15, then concerts are like welcome to being a little bit. I mean, like, you probably heard everything on the bus. You probably tried a few things on the bus. You probably, at that point, it's a little like, okay, you're going to see some stuff. I also think it's on the parent a little bit to tell your kid, look, there's a reason why I'm strict with you. And as a matter of fact, I'm about to take you into a building filled with people whose parents were not strict with them. And look at what you're going to see. You want to end up like them? Or you want to end up like your mom and I? You know? Like, do you want to, now asking your kids if they want to end up like their parents? Yeah, I got a little carried away with that one, didn't I? little carried away with that one. All right, fair enough. That one doesn't really flesh out. Fair. But I do think it's on you a little bit. You were young once. You know what the concerts are. You know what people are doing there. You can't be surprised it's still happening because you want to take your kids. You know, everybody talks about how we used to be able to have fun everywhere. You realize everybody arguing that they should be able to take their kids everywhere they go is one of the reasons why we don't have as much fun in certain places anymore. Why they got to make sure you can only carry 2 drinks and don't smoke that right here. Don't have that. There's people's kids right here. You can't do that. That's why concerts don't have that same vibe that they had back in the day. You're also older. And so you're noticing other things at shows than you did when you were young. That's part of this conversation too. Let's not make that. Everybody, wants all things to be accessible to all people. Okay, we can do that, but we talked about this a little bit with Seinfeld yesterday and his complaining about the sitcom. He's right, the sitcoms are dead, they're over. Who's to blame? Okay, fine, but like we listed you the top 10 sitcoms in the country right now, and they were laughable, which is the wrong word to use because you're not going to laugh at any of them. But when you make all things accessible to all people, then they have to be appropriate for all age groups. It's tough, man, because like I remember I went and saw Motley Crue, and they were on that summer stadium tour. Got Leopard and Poison and all of them. My buddy had second row seats, so I was in the venue and he texted me, he's like, "Dude, so you want to come sit second row for a few songs?" I was like, "Yeah." I went down there and I did. And standing right next to me was this dad, and he had a young kid with him. And by young, I mean like 13 to 15, somewhere in there. I'm bad at that, but somewhere right in there. And that kid was going bonkers crazy. And I looked at him and was like, I'm a little jealous of you. I had to fight my parents for Motley Crue. Like, it wasn't just like, here's the Crew. Like, that wasn't my experience growing up in life. That kid was going crazy. I said to him, is this your first time ever seeing the Crew? And they were sitting on the other side of us. I was like, dude, I know we're both sitting second row. I was like, but I'm closer to, where they're running down here. You're a little far at the end of the row. You want to come and sit? I'll switch seats with you so you can get a better look at McMarks. And, he did it and he saw it and it was the whole thing. And the kid, I was like, I told him, I was like, I used to be you, dude. Like, I used to be you, man. Like, just take it all in. It goes fast. Same thing happened at Metallica in Pittsburgh. I went to PNC Park to see them, which, by the way, PNC is an awesome place to see a show. And I saw Metallica there. Right behind us, a guy drove down from Canada with his kid. And I asked this kid, what's your favorite Metallica song? Whiskey in the Jar. And I laughed, of course. I said, well, they're going to play it for sure. I said, I've seen the set list. You're getting it. And that kid, all throughout that show, was having the time of his life. And I was like, that's a good dad right there. But if I turned around and I saw like a 6-year-old at Metallica. As a matter of fact, the guy did have his like 2-year-old daughter on his shoulders. I took a photo of it. It's a great photo. It is, I don't think that's where I would want my 2-year-old. I do think there are things that are, like I said this about bars/restaurants. When I was growing up, people would have never taken their kids to a bar after 9 o'clock. Like, and I don't mean to call them out, but like a B-dubs, you never saw kids in there late at night. Ever would you see that? Because people are like, dude, this is a bar. I'm not bringing my kids here. But now all of a sudden it's like, yeah, kids in bars, it's the way it is. Yeah, just get the car seat right on top of the bar. I mean, the stuff that happens now, and again, everybody thinks, well, it's just me, it's just my kid, we'll be fine. But if you're standing around concerts going, why am I not allowed to do this? Why am I not allowed to do that? This used to be more fun. Oh my God, security's getting way too tight. Oh my God, everybody's taking things too seriously. Yeah, because people want to take 9-year-olds everywhere they go. Grab that $1,000 Rock the Bank keyword off of me at 9 a.m. We pass those out all day. I have the first every weekday morning at 9. We've been talking about bringing kids to concerts because Doja Cat, pop artist, is like, what are you doing bringing kids to my shows? I'm rapping about all kind of inappropriate stuff. She had given us a couple of examples. I don't feel like reading them again. That made me feel a little uncomfortable, if I'm honest. You can grab it in the pod a little later this morning at WRQK.com. Teresa actually says, no, I'm with the parents that want to bring kids places. Okay. She said, the fact that, concerts were a kid-free place forever is why there was so much degeneracy going on in those places. You were right that the things are becoming more safe, or at least some things are, because we are taking children more places. We are doing more of them. And I like knowing the fact that things are becoming more accessible to all audiences there. Okay, it's a reasonable viewpoint. I can see it. I don't know if I share it. I think it does depend on the artist, right? Concerts are a tricky thing for kids because you got to be worried about what's coming from the stage, yes, right? Hard to be like, well, man, look at all this agenda warping my kid's mind. Now watch now as I pay $300 and drive them to it, right? Like that's going to be a little crazy. So there's going to be that argument. But you do got to be worried about what's coming from the stage, but you got to be worried about what's happening around in the crowd as well. So I think the artist, we were trying to figure out the age, and I said, well, 15 kind of feels right. But I'm kind of presenting that from a place of, taking your kid to see the bands that I like, right? And the kind of music I like, although I like a little bit of everything. I mean, you're probably mostly going to be okay at a Taylor Swift show, right? Plenty of moms are going to be hammered drunk in there like a dad would be at the crew, but literally the TikToks of people being hammered at the Taylor Swift shows were everywhere. I mean, they went viral. So it's like that happens. And you just got to know your kids are going to experience some of that stuff. James actually wrote in, this is at my Facebook page, the Stansbury Show, you can find me there. He says, my wife's taking our 15-year-old and a friend to go see a model turned pop singer. I don't know who this is. Their first real concert this weekend as you're talking about this. And I wrote back to him and I said, well, dude, 15, that's kind of where I drew the line. It was like, next year they can drive themselves to the show. At that point, you know what I mean? They're going to tell you they're going somewhere and then they're going to a show. How many times did you do it? How many times did I do it? I mean, that's what's going to happen. And he said, that was our exact rationale. I remember having that conversation with a mom and her daughter. We were at a restaurant right here in this fair city of Canton, Ohio, and her daughter was all of 15 at the moment. She wanted to go to this country show that was going to be at the Civic Center. And I remember her sitting in that booth and saying to her mom, oh my God, it's Canton, it's the Civic Center. What could possibly happen? Just being a kid. She wasn't snotty about it or anything. She was just kind of talking, And I said, well, a lot can happen. That doesn't mean you shouldn't get to go, though. You just got to be smart about what it is you're doing. And so I kind of, I said, look, this is my industry. I said, if I know anything, it's how to navigate a concert venue. How I got into the radio business was hanging banners at them all, dealing with security, dealing with the ticket guy, dealing with will call. I know concert venues, baby. Like the back of my hand, I know them, right? And I said, so here's the pitfalls you need to be looking for. Just be on the lookout for this, be on the lookout for that. Definitely don't be doing this. And then she came home and everything was fine. She went with her friend and their parents and everything was fine. And everything was fine, right? Depending on the artist you're going to see, I think changes the age range. You know, the problem is a lot of parents, their bands are coming back around and touring, Kiss, and people want to take their kids to those shows. Iron Maiden, Kiss, Judas Priest, and I'm always torn. I'm torn because I want the torch passed on. I want great things to live forever, right? And bringing people to concerts and having them experience it will do some of that. You can say whatever you want about Kiss. I've taken so many people to their first Kiss show. And about 3 songs in, they all turn to me and go, all right, I get it. Like, all right, dude, I totally get it now. It's like, yeah, man, like they're the